We've seen him on Fox News. We've seen him on Kung Fu Golf. My slides are out of order. We've seen him on Infowars. We've seen him selling kidnapping and ransom insurance. And the kidnap and ransom insurance has a picture by a guy by the name of Michael Viktor. And this guy kind of looks like Matt when you compare him to other pictures of Matt from Kung Fu Golf. So join me tonight. Let's do a deep dive into your favorite YouTuber. And we're also going to look into the Parasite pill. Yo. What is up? It's your boy Drew. You're checking out that Drew World Order live. Catch me live every Friday night here on the Chalk Body Outline YouTube channel, where I talk about politics, propaganda, psychology, and philosophy, and parasite pills. That's what we're going to get into tonight. The parasite pill. You heard of the blue pill, the red pill, the black pill. We're going to get into the parasite pill tonight. And then we're going to take a look at our favorite truther, Matthew McKinley from the channel Quantum of Conscience. Along with EBT, we've done a lot of research on this guy over the years and over last like 2 years basically. And it's been in the middle of live streams and just spread out throughout time. So I'm going to have it all condensed in one place tonight. And we'll ask Matthew some questions and see if he wants to answer them. If not, that's fine. And I would also like to ask questions to the people that like think that the evidence that I promote or that I'm going to show and stuff is not, you know, legitimate or something. They think it's a personal attack on him, and they, you know, I have made jokes and done things like that, but tonight I'm just going to keep it in the realm of the cerebral and show you just what I've found and some plot holes in his ideology that I see. So there's going to be no trolling. Sorry, guys. I know you come for the lulz, but I'm going to keep it serious tonight on McKinley because there's a big disconnect between the people that hear it and just immediately rage when you say anything about him. They're unwilling to process the information. But first, I want to get into the parasite pill. I guess let's just play a video real quick to kind of get you up to speed. If you don't know what it is, it's called Toxoplasmosis Ghandi or something like that. And that was the basis behind this cover tonight. We're going to talk about those two different things that kind of mashed him up. Now, I'm not saying Matt has this or even making that claim or anything. I mean, maybe. They say between 30 to 70% of the world, depending on what you read, has it. So there's an at least 1 in 3 chance you watching this has it. So be the same for Matt and even myself. What about the kitty here? What do you think? The cat overlords controlling us from another dimension? Let me play this video quick.
Now this is a common stereotype. The single lady who lives next door and you hear the meows echoing through the walls, or maybe it's your aunt or grandma with a whole clouder of cats. Whoever it is, she is known as the crazy cat lady. And stereotypes or not, there could be some actual psychological risks from hanging around so many kitties if just one of them is harboring a parasite. See, there is a parasite that sexually produces only inside cats, and it's called Toxoplasma Ghandi. And if that parasite gets into a human, it can result in a full-blown infection called Toxoplasmosis, which could be bad news for your body and your mind.
Dendrick Fractals said it's called Wormpilled. Get it right. I like that. My bad. I'm behind in my slang. Getting into that Wormpilled. I got to stop it every once in a while and give my commentary, right?
T. Ghandii have really tough eggs, and when animals like rats or birds eat them, even just through contaminated water, they become intermediate hosts. Once that bird or rat makes its way inside of a cat, however that happens, in the kitty's gut, the parasite will mature, mate, and sexually reproduce. And eventually the cat will poop out more eggs, which continues the cycle. In a human or other intermediate host, T. Ghandii can still hatch, but only reproduce asexually. They're dangerous, though, because parasites can enter your bloodstream and infect almost any kind of cell.
What's on this guy's shirt here? I'm trying to figure it out. Is it supposed to be like a teddy bear in a UFO or something like that? I don't get it.
Including immune cells. An immune cell is like a Trojan horse, letting T. Ghandii sneak around and invade more specialized tissues like muscle cells and brain cells. Once parasites get into your central nervous system, they can hide out in cysts and infect you for life. But you might not show any symptoms, or if you do, it's just like a mild flu.
Sound like anything else? It says there's no symptoms or very little, and it'd be like a mild flu. What else does that sound like? I kind of, when I was looking into this, I kind of looked at the connection between those two things, the disease of the last couple of years and this toxoplasmosis, and there seems like there's a lot between it, but I'm not going to go into that too deep tonight because I just only did a surface level search on that. Shout out to the chat, man. We got 69 people here. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. Got a backup channel. It's called Get Chalked Up on YouTube. If you go to chalkbodyoutline.com, you will get all my links. And then also did a stream last night with Enslaved by Truth. Davey Crocker was there. Red Mare, aka Fed Mare, was there. And it was hilarious. It's over on Enslaved by Truth's YouTube channel. So search that if you want to watch the one from last night, or I'll drop the link in the comment in a little bit.
Mild flu. Some estimates say over 1/3 of all humans have toxoplasmosis without knowing it. As a human's immune system gets weaker over time, the parasitic cysts can cause some more severe symptoms. An infected person can develop muscle weakness, poor coordination, seizures, or permanent damage to the brain and eyes, which is not great. And if a pregnant woman is infected, she could pass the parasites on to her baby. On top
So if you grew up, if your mom was a crazy cat lady, then you're likely to have these symptoms. That's what I saw when I was looking into it. Yeah, everyone in the chat is still talking about QLC. We'll get into that. I think the first hour I'm going to go into this, if I can go an hour or so. And then we'll get into... I have all the analytics of all the subscribers he brought, and we're going to talk about all that, because I've been asked about that many times. But for right now, let's focus on this toxoplasmosis.
On top of that, there's evidence that links T. Ghandii infection to psychological conditions too. One study monitored the mental health of nearly 46,000 women from Denmark who had their newborn babies screened for T. Ghandii antibodies, which were passed on. The researchers then followed up on the mother's medical and psychiatric information for up to 14 years and found that infected women seemed to have more risk of depression, anxiety, and self-harm later in life. Many
They crazy.
Study suggests that T. Ghandi affects how a couple of different neurotransmitters work too. These are the chemicals that travel between neurons all over the body, not just in the brain. And when neurotransmitters get imbalanced, that can lead to physical and mental illnesses. One 2011 mouse study from the University of Leeds showed that T. Ghandi infection in brain cells led to higher dopamine levels because the parasite makes an enzyme that controls how dopamine is made. Dopamine helps regulate parts of the brain tied to pleasure, mostly the amygdala and the nucleus accumbens. But too much dopamine flooding the brain has been linked with illnesses that distort thoughts and moods, like psychosis, schizophrenia, and bipolar disorder.
So yeah, even modern academia admits that this toxoplasmosis, you have more likely chance to have like cognitive issues and schizophrenia and stuff like that. Just like 2 more minutes here on this one. I know it's a little slow, and then we'll get into dig a little bit deeper into this topic. So shout out to everyone here, man. Appreciate you guys.
A recent study in 2016 showed that T. Ghandi infection can also mess up a protein that transports glutamate, which is usually an excitatory neurotransmitter that makes neurons more easily activated. Failed transporters lead to a glutamate buildup in the space between neurons all over the nervous system, like a chemical traffic jam. This is called excitotoxicity, and it basically overstimulates the nerve cells, causing parts of them to go haywire and start breaking down. So dysregulation of glutamate is linked with neurodegenerative diseases like ALS, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's. And another study from 2012 found that parasite-hijacked immune cells start releasing a bunch of GABA. GABA is usually an inhibitory neurotransmitter, which means it can keep neurons from firing as much. When it interacts with the amygdala, for instance, GABA can help control feelings of fear and anxiety. So way too much GABA could presumably make someone feel fearless.
Yo, GABA, GABA. And that's how it works on the mice. When we'll get into it, apparently it makes the mice where they can't really smell the cat piss, and then the mice will hang out where the cat's piss and get eaten, and then the eggs or whatever of the parasite form in the stomach of the cat, right? And then when the cat takes a dump, that's how it's spread. That's the cross contamination. And then they say, like, in the human, like, you'll have more similar to that. You'll have more, like, you'll become more of like an adrenaline junkie, because that's what he was saying, like, that it affects the dopamine levels of your brain. So a lot of stories of people become like motorcycle, you know, they start riding their motorcycle fast and stuff like that to get that thrill, adrenaline.
Like how severely infected mice seem to be less afraid of cats and get eaten more often. That way, the parasites can continue their life cycles. But even with all this research, other studies have suggested that there isn't a significant association between toxoplasmosis and mental disorders. A study from Duke University took blood samples from just over 800 people to look for T. Ghandi antibodies and did other surveys and tests to collect data about their behavior. About 28% of their participants tested positive for parasite antibodies, but the researchers didn't find a significant association with schizophrenia, depression, or other mental disorders, or any link to impulsive activities like crime or car accidents. So research in this field is tricky because animal models like mice aren't entirely comparable to humans, but it'd also be super unethical to do controlled experimental studies on humans, like giving people toxoplasmosis and monitoring their brains.
Just do it to prisoners. I'm all for it. Let's see what it's about.
But there is no reason to ditch your cats. They bring happiness and cuddles. There is so many positive health outcomes associated with having a fuzzy thing in your house. Just be careful around their poop, like make sure it doesn't go in your mouth. Try to keep them from eating mice and birds, if that's possible. And make sure your food is cooked properly so you don't accidentally eat any uncooked parasite eggs. Thanks.
Don't eat uncooked cat poop. It's the gist of that video from this soy gamma. What else we got here? Let's see. Another quick video here. I'll skip to the end of this one. This one is called The Parasite That Could Be Living Inside of You Right Now.
Unwashed vegetables or undercooked meat, and about 15% of people in the US have the telltale cysts in their heart, nervous system.
Look at it, it's green. It's green and magenta. Oh my God. Reality breakdown, partner. Right here.
more alarming health issues such as schizophrenia and even brain cancer. By far the most fascinating thing about the parasite, however, is its apparent ability to control the mind, or at least the behavior of certain of its hosts. Specifically, rats infected with the parasite will become unusually attracted to the scent of cat urine, a scent they'd usually avoid like the plague. Terrifyingly, the parasite seems to accomplish this by completely and permanently overriding the rat's natural fear of cats and their distinctive odor. Instead, the rat becomes intensely sexually attracted to it. Needless to say, this makes it much more likely that the rat will be eaten by a cat, which allows the Toxoplasma gondii to get inside its preferred host. As of yet, thankfully, no such mental change has been noted in human beings. In the end, our own immune system keeps the majority of the symptoms, and by extension the parasite, at bay. When it doesn't, for example, in immune-deficient people, the subsequent disease often results in death, with initial complications including encephalitis, inflammation of the brain, and pneumonia. And now for a bonus
Pneumonia, just like the 19, right?
fact. On February the 10th in 1355 in Oxford, England, Walter Springhuse and Roger de Chesterfield, two students at the University of Oxford, got in an argument with tavern owner John Croydon over the quality of the drinks he was serving. In the end, drinks were thrown in the face of Croydon, after which the two students attacked him. Soon the fight spread, with local townspeople on one side and Oxford students on the other. In the fight, students at the university even assaulted the mayor of Oxford, John de Bereford. This riot
Rise up, y'all, in the bar. I'm gonna go to my, my channel, my community. Here's what I want. Copy this link. Oops.
About it though. Is it poor?
And make sure you guys go and subscribe to EBT on that link. Watch the stream from last night. Hilarious. Legend says he's ready for the panel. Yeah, right. So this is what's happening, man, to these people. Protozoa. It's not loading. Protozoa could be controlling your brain. Crazy, right? One of the most widespread I can't even say it. The pee-pee. Parasitic protozoa, Toxoplasmosis. I don't know how they say that. Ghandi. Can slow you down and incapacitate you, and in the worst case, kill you. It's been most studied in rats and mice, blah, blah, blah. The infected rodent won't look sick. Its weight is normal. It moves normally. Like compared to rabies, how you can tell, you know, and there's a different behavior with rabies and everything. This one's very stealth. Sorry. Go to the next article. This one here it says Toxoplasmosis modified humans. Where else do you hear that too? Where they talk about purebloods and modified humans. It says this toxo was first observed in 1908. Right here, the life cycle of it. Cat ingests the cyst. It is birthed in their stomach. They shit it out. Toxo knows how to hijack the sexual reward pathway, because that's what it's saying. The rodents get like sexually attracted to the cat piss. And then maybe that has something to do too with like the sexual reward pathway, with the overabundance of porn and everything like that. If this is like a weaponized thing, because even the military has looked into toxo, so you know it's probably been weaponized or whatever for a long time. The rat is now sexually attracted to cat piss. It seems humans aren't having a love affair with cat piss. Instead, it appears that humans are having the fear center of their brain circuit bent, causing some interesting findings. It says motorcyclists have a high probability of where do they get this study? Motorcyclists have a high probability of being infected with toxo. Why? I don't get where they. If you have a bunch of cats all over your house or something, do you just all of a sudden get a motorcycle? I don't get where they get that. That seems like a stretch to me. It says if a simple organism can make such a precise modification to a rat's brain, it is not far-fetched to think it's already going on inside our heads or on a far larger scale. So it says basically what happens is it breaks the blood-brain barrier and gets into the brain and creates like tiny little cysts, which can build up over time in the human. And then once that happens, there's really no medicine or whatever they can use to treat it because it's actually inside of the brain. And any of the medicine, it's not really going to break the blood-brain barrier. Yeah, go watch that stream. EBT said, shout out to Archaics. He said, what are you guys talking about, Archaics, in the chat? You guys love them. Occulta Traveler says, well, we're going to get to it, bro. You guys want me to just go to it. You guys are here for the drama. You don't want to learn about any of this stuff. You guys want the drama. Then you act like you don't. They talk about there's a link between this toxo and I don't know if you can say this on YouTube. I've heard some people say you can't. And another channel was calling it self-deletion. So apparently there's a link between that and the self-deletion or whatever from Scientific America. Countries with high toxoplasma infection rates also had high self-deletion rates, but the connection between the two was weak and there was no direct evidence that the woman who did that were infected. So basically there's no connection or what? Scientific. The headline says there is. The results were clear. Oh, here we go. Women with toxoplasmosis infections were 54% more likely to attempt self-deletion and twice as likely to succeed. In particular, these women were more likely to attempt violent self-deletions, gun, knife, overdose on pills. But even more disturbing, the attempt of self-deletion risk was positively correlated with the level of infection. Those with the highest levels of antibodies were 91% more likely to attempt self-deletion than uninfected women. The connection between the parasite and self-deletion held even for women who had no history of mental illness. Among them, infected women were 56% more likely to commit self-directed violence. It says, while these results might seem frightening, they make sense when you think about how toxoplasmosis is known to affect our personalities. It is linked to neuroticism, which is defined by psychology as an enduring tendency to experience negative emotional states. So people that just wallow in self-pity is one of the key signs of this toxoplasmosis, and includes depression, guilt, and insecurity. Now, to me, let me finish this one. The link between neuroticism and self-deletion is well established. Thus, if the parasite does not make people more neurotic, or if it does make people more neurotic, it's not surprising that it influences rates of self-violence. Now, to me, this goes with the stream I did last week where I called it The Dangers of the Online Truth Community. You can go find that on my page. And I basically said the whole truth community just seems to be a rabbit hole leading into depression, hopelessness, and ultimately this, I think it would just lead to, I hate that I got to say it, and speaking of code, self-deletion or whatever. Like that would be the ultimate end game if you're just in a simulation or whatever these people believe. Why wouldn't you just reset the game? There's really no penalty or anything like that. And these people feel so hopeless in the comments that I read on all these different channels. They're like, yeah, you know, I've felt this way since like kindergarten. I felt like there was no reason to be here and blah, blah. Well, then why wouldn't you check out, right? And maybe that's part of the draw of the truth community and everything, where it's just so hopeless and there's so much despair. Maybe it has something to do with a lot of the people might suffer from this, because they say, I know that's a wide range, but they say between 30 to 70% of people could possibly have toxoplasmosis. It says, how does a parasite affect how we think? The authors suggest that our immune system may be to blame when we are infected with a parasite. Like toxoplasmosis, our immune system goes on the offensive, producing a group of molecules called cytokines that activate blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. It says, is the deletion attempt a direct effort of the parasite on the function of the brain, or an exaggerated immune response induced by the parasite affecting the brain? We do not know, said this dude, Theodore Polstash, whatever kind of name that is, from University of Maryland. We can't say with certainty that Toxo caused the women to try to do that. In fact, we have not excluded reverse causality, as there might be risk factors for that type of behavior that also make people more susceptible to infections with T. Ghandi. So just like any other scientific thing, they leave themselves a lot of gray area, but there does seem to be a lot of research of it dealing with neuroticism, depression, all that kind of stuff. One of the first places I ever heard of it was on Train Spotting. You guys ever see that movie Train Spotting? Back in the day when I used to watch movies, there was a part of it. Drink water in the chat says, I'm sure Toxo has an effect, but it gives an excuse for all the artificial ways the elites make the average person suffer. That's a good insights too, because yeah, you're bombarded all day, every day with all kinds of, you know, programming and negative messaging, and you're in all kinds of frequency waves, and the food is tainted, everything, water's tainted, everything like that. So yeah, it totally could be a way where they just use that as an excuse to kind of say with it, that's why you feel this way.
From a motorcycle accident death, check the organs for toxo. I don't know why, but you find a lot of toxo.
Yeah, here they go again. They specifically blame motorcycle accidents for this. I don't understand where that comes from. Watching too much like Stuart Little or something.
With that, and you can see this guy was like in this rush of nostalgic memories of back when he was 25 and being told this weird factoid. Ooh, people who've died in motorcycle accidents seem to have high rates of toxo. Utterly bizarre. Okay, here's something terrifying and not surprising. Someone who knows about toxo and the behavioral stuff is the U.S. military. They're interested in toxo.
This guy doesn't go too deep into it, but he does say military has interest in toxo. Just like anything else, I'm sure they look to weaponize any and everything that they can. Any technology that comes up basically is a weapon first.
They're officially intrigued, and I would think they would be intrigued studying a parasite that makes mammals perhaps do things that everything in their fiber tells them not to because it's dangerous and ridiculous and stupid and don't do it. And suddenly with this parasite on board, it's a little bit more likely you go and do it. Who knows, but they are aware of toxo. The little science, and this is really an emerging field, there's been a handful of these really excellent papers from this group in the UK who obviously pioneered it. We've had a couple of papers out by now, and we're cranking out more as fast as we can. It's two groups that collaborate on...
Enough of this guy. He's got a nice beard, though. I wish someday I could get mine like that. One more. Damn, I wanted to go an hour on this. I'm only 30 minutes in. That's okay, though. I'll just read A little bit of this. It may trigger schizophrenia and bipolar disorders. It may play a role in the development by affecting the production of dopamine, the chemical that relays messages to the brain and controlling aspects of movement, cognition, and behavior. Toxoplasmosis changes some of the chemical messages in the brain, and these changes have an enormous effect on the behavior. Studies show there is a direct statistical link between incidences of schizophrenia and toxoplasmosis infection. Parasite infects the brain by forming a cyst within its cells and produces an enzyme called tyrosine hydrolase, which is needed to make dopamine. Dopamine's role in mood, sociability, attention, motivation, and sleep patterns are well documented, and schizophrenia has long been associated with dopamine. And that's what social media is all based on too, right? It's dopamine. So that's one of the ultimate ways that these elite people can spam your brain, is through dopamine pleasure centers. Dr. McConkey says it's highly unlikely we will find one definitive trigger for schizophrenia, as there are many factors involved, but our studies will provide a clue as to how toxoplasmosis infection, which is more common than you think, can impact the development of the conditions in some individuals, and maybe have links to neurological conditions such as Parkinson's disease, Tourette syndrome, and attention deficit disorder. So basically, they're saying it could cause all that and all kinds of different things. Jack Burton says, I think they spike deodorants. They totally could, right? There's no way you would know, I guess. Shout out to my mods in here, UBT, Christina. Who else we got in here? Tin. Sorry, Toilet Bowl Earth. Brand name change. Cats are them people. Says Muska in the chat. All right, we got 117 people in here. I guess that's all the links I had on that. I'm going to take a second here and I'm going to blast through some of these. I was going through some of these Queen memes because I wanted to go live. I was going to go live last night. A little bit more about the Queen. This says British people today. This dude dumped some beans everywhere. Oh, I thought this part was funny here. This was in Dublin the night she died, or yesterday, I guess. Last night. Lizzie's in a box, they're saying, if you can't tell. I've heard people from the UK, they say like the black people over there are different than the black people here. And then the Irish people over there are what you would consider like what the stereotypes of the black people here. Well, they were going ham. They loved it. This kind of went in with that, I have the name of it in here. I forget what it's called. So you got Epstein and Ghislaine sitting at this cabin, and then later they showed the Queen and whoever else here at the same thing. And there's like, oh, this is proof that she went to the Epstein Island. I would say it's proof that the entire thing is filmed in a studio somewhere. They just only have so many sets, and these people are actors on the world stage. And no matter where they go, like, you know, eventually you're going to reuse these same sets. Or, like, to me, that's more likely than why would she be going down here to this inconsequential thing? Goes right with that Marjorie Taylor Greene that was on, I should pull that up real quick. I'll pull that up in 1 second here. But yeah, and then these like online truthers, like the sleuths here, they're like, red circle to prove it. So it does look like the exact same thing, but if it's a set, And behind this, the logs here is probably like just a straight green screen, and they can just put in whatever they want to put in. Because, like, the trees here are way closer, right? And then in this one, the trees are way more in the background. And it looks hillier, like right here. There's like a big, not a big hill, but a good size hill right here on the side. And on the Epstein one, it's flat and it goes out before there's a hill. So to me, it's just more likely that this is a set in front of a green screen, and there's wherever they're at, wherever they do that, Area 51 would be my guess. But I mean, really could be anywhere. I did want to pull up that. Let me pull up that Marjorie Taylor Greene real quick. In case you don't know who it is, I'm sure most of you know. It's the second picture down here. It's the QAnon type lady. And now they came out with this title.
So I got a
this video here. Let me turn off the sound. And she was on season 1 of American Idol under a different name. I'll probably have to keep the sound off for this one. I'll turn it up a little bit.
California. My biggest worry right now is telling my work how I'm gonna miss Monday.
Yeah, that's her, dude. There's no way that's not her. Doesn't matter if she has a different name, they say a different age or whatever. I mean, the face is 100% dead ringer. And American Idol was by Fox, and she's like on the Fox side of the team. It's like Raw versus SmackDown. She's on the Fox team.
1-6. Sorry, boss.
Now it's time for our energetic dancer, Stephanie Sugarman. Let's hope her boss isn't watching.
See, that's all it takes to fool these people. They'll be like, oh, well, her name's Stephanie Sugarman, so it's definitely not Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene's probably not even her real name. That's the hardest part for me to try to explain that actor-based reality theory to people. And we'll get back to on topic in a second, but this one just is like such a proof to me of what's going on. And it, like, the people literally can't fathom that these politicians that's not their real name even. That's not their real date of birth. Anything you see, their family might not even be the real family you see. So that goes with that, like Queen of England and Epstein in front of that green screen cabin or whatever. And I have proof of this firsthand is when I voted for Jesse Ventura when I was like 18 years old in Minnesota, because I went to the ballot and voted, and his name was Jesse Ventura. And that's not his real name. Like, he never changed his name to that or whatever. So why would on a government document, why would it be listed as that? Because all you have to do is go down there and you have one person vouch for you and you run. So all these politicians, at least the main ones, I don't think on like the city level or anything like that. I'm talking about the main ones that are on TV all the time. Like AOC, they even admit she comes from like a casting call. So it's literally just actors, and this is proof of it to me.
How are you? Great. Good. Okay, what do you do?
I'm in marketing for cheese.
Dang, EBT says CBO is Jesse Ventura. Damn, you got me, bro. Same middle name. Body.
I sell provolone and mozzarella.
If you had to recommend a cheese for Randy to put on his hamburger, what would you suggest?
Lazati.
Okay, what are you going to sing?
I'm gonna sing Not Gonna
There's no way that's not her, right? And then look at the number, 1011.
Boots by H-Town.
Verse and a chorus, please.
Oh, come on, turn the lights down.
And I would think, I mean, it's just pure speculation, but I would think that Fox sees this person, they can see like how energetic she is and how hungry she is to just be in front of a camera all the time. And they probably just, maybe organically she came here to do this. And then they pull her aside later and say, hey, have we got a gig for you? And this guy that tries to debunk it in this video, he says, well, at this age, Marjorie Taylor Greene already had inherited a construction business. So why would she go on here and do this when she was already making good money just owning the construction business and not having to do anything? But that's the whole thing. She might not even own that. You know, it's just like a story, a construct.
not because they didn't say come to Hollywood.
Well, that means
But the thing is,
You know Ryan Seacrest hit it. You know he did. Anyway, they told her no. She didn't get on the show. That's what I'm saying. I bet later. I bet the Fox executives rolled up on her and said, hey, man, you want to do this?
I think I have what it takes.
we said no.
We said no.
But why?
Because you're not good enough.
Because you're not good enough. You're not a good singer at all.
Oh, hell no. See, the thing is, I'm right here because I'm the whole package right here. I got the looks, I got the style, and I'm the next Tina Marie or the Stephanie Sugarman right here. Let me tell you, good loving, body rocking, knocking boots all night long. Man.
Sorry. I just love that one because it's such a proof of... And you can go through and find like all kinds of these proofs or whatever. If you look close enough and if you understand it. Big tangent from this one, sorry. Sorry, folks. It's Friday night. Yeah, Occulted Traveler said, sorry, guys, my mind parasite was making me ADHD. Keep showing this. You got to go to EBT's channel. You need the link. EBT's got it unlisted. What's going on, E? It's unlisted. You won't be able to find it without the link. So go to my channel, go to my community tab, and I have a link for it there. Classic EBT. The Kang. I didn't realize Paddington Bear had a Twitter. They just straight up have a Paddington Bear Twitter. Biden signed some book for... That meme was funny to me. I don't know why. That drawing just cracked me up. Elizabeth won the gulag. Yeah, did you see that? And then they had a double rainbow came out outside of Buckingham Palace when all those people were there. There was a double rainbow. It says, and then all the people broke into God Save the Queen. Dang. And that's her as a kid. What's she doing there? Netflix is going to make an adaptation. You'll see this coming soon. After Cutie Season 3, they'll have this Queen Elizabeth II. And then for the people that would say that one was a Photoshop, they got the video of it. Dang. The Queen was a race realist. This dude was like singing about her. Oh my god, that's so loud. I don't know how to control that volume. I'll just move on. She went down there and she said, hey, where's Hitler? Look at Ruth Bader Ginsburg's down there. The landlord's down there. MLK, what's his real name? I've done an expose on MLK before. I can't remember. And he was the founder of like the United Pussy Eaters of America or something like that. Like literally. And that's not even his real name. Another actor-based reality. Proof. Yeah, this is what that thing was called. That's why I saved this one. It's called Oxfordshire. If you ever want to look into that Queen. They say the Queen like had something to do with this. I don't know how true it is. I never really looked into it. But I'd save this because that's the search term. It's called Oxfordshire Queen or whatever. If you want to go down one of these child rabbit holes or whatever. I don't even like looking at that stuff. You can't even prove it, right? MLK is Martin Lawrence. All right, man. Well, I made it 45 minutes. Let me check the chat real quick. 124 people in the chat. Dang. What's up, y'all? Smash the like. How many likes we got in here? Not enough. You guys are here for the good stuff, man. I know why you're here. You're here for the drama. That's what you guys like. So more than like, oh, coming at McKinley, that's what somebody said in the chat. Dave's Pinball. Oh, you're coming at McKinley again. That's what they always say. Like, oh, this is a hit piece on McKinley and everything like that. It's like, I'm doing this more for the people that say that and that weird reaction from these people, that you can show them all this, like, you know, evidence or whatever, all these different things that don't add up. You know, individually, they may not be that big of a deal, but then they definitely add up to build a profile on a person. And they refuse to acknowledge it, and then they'll get mad at me, and they'll say, oh, you're doing a hit piece, and how dare you, blah, blah, blah. Like, they can't think without their emotions. That's how I feel. So if you don't know, I'm going to have it all here now in one place where we've been kind of going over and collecting different evidence. Not evidence, I don't know a better word, but of Matt and stuff, right? And so if you don't know, though, this channel I started on, I started doing this Instagram, and I got up to like 5,000 followers on Instagram, and I was doing lives. And my very first live was on Instagram. I still have it. I'm going to upload, actually, this is what I'll do, is I'll upload the first live I ever did, and I'll upload it for the members only. So if you want to become a member of the channel, it's only $2 a month. You do get the emojis. That's really all I can offer, because I'm always getting like strikes and stuff. And then week timeout. So I'd like to do more and do like streams for the members, but I really can't. Ooh, they're going down. They're leaving in droves. The QLC people are leaving in droves. GTFO. But I got to like 5,000 and was doing lives. The first live I did on Instagram was about like, oh, the Vatican's evil and Jesus is coming out of a nuclear holocaust in the snakehead, well, you know, Vatican hall or whatever. Like all the stuff that you hear everyone do. And that was like the very first live stream I did. I just pointed my phone at the screen and was just showing different clips and stuff. I'm going to actually put that up for the members later, because I think it's funny. And I have pretty much all my archives of everything I've done since then. And I've had to take probably like over 100 videos down off of YouTube just because of different things I've said. So I got them anyway. I'm getting long-winded here. I'm sorry. It's that toxoplasmosis, man, because I had a cat for 14 years. And then I started doing live streams with EBT on Instagram. And then we would upload them to YouTube and stuff. And then I started, instead of doing them anymore on Instagram, I just kind of started doing them live streams and prepared videos on YouTube. And I kind of started out with space is fake. that was a big thing, in flat earth. And I got out of that pretty quickly. And I was able to build the channel. This is from my analytics page. So when I opened this up before the stream, it was at $51.99. So 4 pussies have left. Good. And I got the channel up to March 17th. I got it up to 434 subscribers, which isn't much, right? And then I had done the one called Value Jet Memorial. And that's kind of timely right now with 9/11, so I'll make sure if you're new here, you gotta go check that one out. Just go on my thing and type Value Jet Memorial. I'm not gonna play it, but and then if you type chalkbodyoutline, it'll probably come up. Oh, they don't like that one. This is the place. Oh, they had it a year ago. But anyway, this one was crazy. And Matt shouted me out for that video, I believe. And then, another one left. Sweet. I love it. And then I woke up the next morning and I was like, yo, you can see right here the jump between days. So I went from 434 subscribers to overnight after he shouted out my channel and said, go check out this video. The next day I was at 2,900. So that's basically 2,500 subscribers overnight. And then the next few, well, I got like a 2-week window here. So in the next 2 weeks, it went up to, once you get in that algo, you know, you get going, got up to 35, 37, 37, 77 by March 30th. And so those can't all be attributed to him, but let's say 25 in one day for sure. So let's say $3,000, right? At least $3,000, and then it probably goes up a little more after this time. And I thanked Matt. I offered to, I said, do you want a t-shirt? I'll make you like a t-shirt design. Do you need a banner for your YouTube? Whatever you want, man. Like it was so helpful. And I said, thank you. And I was genuinely appreciative. I don't know really what more I could have done to, you know, I didn't ask for him to do it, and I wasn't like a paid ad or anything. So then this is where I get a lot of pushback, was when I speak out against him or I talk about his ideas. People will say like, basically like, I shouldn't do that because he shouted me out and gave me a bunch of subscribers. And to that I would say like, why? How come all these other channels that he shouts out like don't get that many subscribers? Like he shouts out Uncanny Deduction all the time. That guy doesn't have as many subscribers as me. Or there's other channels. Who was that other channel that was it was like some natural law guy. I forgot what his name is already. And even Vat City. I think Vat City is one of the best truther channels in the game. Consistently, you know, and I love his music too. And Matt shouted him out, but he didn't even get as many subscribers. So for whatever reason, it was like the perfect time and place, and I got a lot of subscribers from it. But then his followers feel like, yo, I'm not allowed to ever say anything about him because of that. And I completely disagree. And I would say, if you're one of those people, I would say that what you really want is you want him to be my handler. You might not even realize that's what you want. Like if he's going to do that, what, I'm just not supposed to say anything ever again, or what? To me, it's a ridiculous point, you know? Robert Bill says, you owe Matt tribute. Pay. What am I supposed to do? I said, thank you. I offered to do whatever, you know? There's nothing really more I could do. In my opinion, maybe, if you do watch it, if you need me to do something, tell me what you want me to do. You need a banner for the YouTube so you can get rid of the one of the suicide. Dang it, there you go, I said the word. Of the suicide doors on the Lamborghini. The banner you got going on? Hopeless, man. Here's my chat. Anyway, we started doing deep dives on this guy and found all kinds of weird stuff. So one of the first weird ones that we found was it was called Kung Fu Golf. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because a lot of you guys have already seen this, but if you type in Kung Fu Golf, on YouTube, there's this entire series where he uses like a Kung Fu type master teacher to teach you golf. And it's from 2013. See, this is why I don't mess with him. Look at him. He's got the sword and the nunchuck skills. Look at, he's like, Drew, I will kill you. I will kill you. Do this cable pull and you'll be a better golfer and all this. So this in and of itself is not nefarious or anything like that. It's just, it seems a little strange. Like there's more production value to this than anything he's still producing today. Where's this girl? Where does she go? But you can look that series up if you've never seen it. It's really Oh, every time you hear that noise, that's like a subscriber, if you're wondering. I don't know if it shows on your thing, if you guys can see it or not. So that was one of the first things that we found. And then we found, where am I at here? Later we found, no one's ever found this video that I know of, but there's stills of him that he was on Fox News, which in and of itself, again, doesn't mean anything. These are the stills, and we narrowed down the date, and we were trying hard to like find this clip, but we couldn't. And I've showed this before, and Matt came out and talked about it, and he said that he just went on there and said he wrote a book about like school was getting too expensive or something like that. So he wrote a book and called these guys up and went on there and did that. So that in and of itself, again, isn't anything like nefarious or anything like that. And then there was still on the internet, it's getting harder to find. There's his appearance on Infowars, where he was on Infowars with this. So you got the Kung Fu Golf, you know, it's starting to add up, build a little profile. And so we just kept diving deep, and then when we found out he had this when he says, "Oh, I sold the insurance," it's like, okay, but he leaves out the part that it's international kidnapping insurance. That's the part he leaves out. And here's one of it was still up, and then after we started talking about it, he took it down, and you got to go back to the Wayback Machine to look it up. But it's his insurance company selling kidnapping insurance and kidnapping and ransom insurance. They find it, and it's I've never heard of that. Maybe I'm out of touch. I don't know. I've never heard anyone selling kidnapping and ransom insurance. But the people that like defend him and stuff, they try to say like, "Oh, he was just working in the Matrix. He was just trying to sell just trying to make a living or whatever." And I've never, this is a weird thing to me. And I think anyone that doesn't say this is weird, I don't know, then we have a way different like interpretation of the world, because I've never heard of this. And I couldn't imagine. And he's never talked about it. And Jeff Snyder 2, the channel Jeff Snyder 2. Yeah, Occulted Traveler, I'm actually going to get into that. He says, is this even real or is it a front? I'm going to actually get into that, but for right now, I just kind of want to show all the different pieces. And Jeff Snyder 2 channel did that. He talked about that. I'll bring that up in a second. But then later what we found is, when EBT helped me a lot looking into this stuff, is when we found you look up the address of this thing. When he says he did it a long time ago, and on Christmas the last year I did a stream about it again. And this is from it's basically like a LinkedIn type site, and it's called Zoom Info. And he's active as late as, the screenshot was from around Christmas time, so I don't know if he's still on it, but on that date, 12/13/2021, he was still updating this profile and everything to the kidnapping insurance, risk management insurance. And then there's an address listed for the business. And when you go to the address on Google Maps, there's one person that has pictures of it on there. And this is where it gets weird, because all this other stuff has been it's all circumstantial and independently really doesn't mean anything. Everyday Man says he's related to President McKinley. Is that true? I've heard people say that, but I don't know if that's true. But when you click these pictures on the Google Maps, we'll go into it in a minute, it'll show you these pictures and the name of the person that puts the pictures in. And the name of the person was Michael Viktor. And the avatar of Michael Viktor, when you looked it up, the avatar was this face on the top left here. And that's an Hollywood actor named Ben Gazarra. So they just used that picture as the avatar for the Michael Victor. And there's like 6,000 pictures all over the United States that take pictures of these towers. So McKinley's International Ransom and Kidnapping Insurance Company address is one of these towers, one of these like AT&T long lines towers, I guess is what it is now. And so originally I speculated that this guy was McKinley. That's what I thought. I thought it was likely. And I've done more investigation, and now I believe it's probably not. But this is the only guy that had a picture of that tower that he uses as the address for the kidnapping. Now, here's where you get to where there's the connection, because a lot of people will be like, oh, you don't really have much until you get into that Michael Victor account. And he uses he uses this avatar, Ben Gazarra, the actor. Let me pull him up quick. You might notice him from Ben Gazarra. This is an actor, so that picture he uses is like from the 50s. And the guy's dead now, Ben Gazarra. And it's the bad guy from Roadhouse, and he's been in tons of other movies. That's the guy. So the picture was when he was way younger. And now here's the part I didn't know. I can't substantiate this. The only reason I have to say this is in case someone else can come up with the evidence of this. Someone said that McKinley at one time said the cat Zara is named after Ben Gazarra. So if anyone can substantiate that, or if you have the recording of that, get in contact with me somehow. Because until we can prove that, that's completely unsubstantiated. And I almost don't want to say it. And I would give that 0 weight until it is substantiated. So even though I'm saying it, I would say write it off unless someone can prove it. If anyone remembers hearing it, even is not enough. You have to have the video where he talked about that. And okay, and here's where it gets the connection. So the Michael Victor, you go through his 6,000 pictures. And on one of the pictures, it was somewhere in New Jersey, I think. He has this picture, which to me looks like Matt. Now, I don't know if it is. This is from the Michael Victor Google Maps thing. Now, is that Matt? It's hard to tell because the pictures, it's far away and stuff. But when you compare it to in the Kung Fu Golf series, where Matt's shoveling snow. So on the right, that's Matt. And then on the left, that's from the Michael Victor Google Maps page. Now, this is where it becomes he's somehow connected to that guy that only had the one and only picture of his address of where the kidnapping and ransom insurance was. And then you have a picture that looks like him. Now, if it's not him here, then it's pretty flimsy, but it's so hard to tell. the chat saying bam. Called Traveler says it's not him. Let me see if I can zoom in a little more. It's so hard to tell because the picture is so blurry. And I'm not saying it is. To me, it looks like it is, but that's not a proof in my opinion. It looks like it though, and I think it is. Don't let me sway your vote though. If you don't think it's him, maybe it's not him. And there's a lot more. So we've been looking into this dude for a while. And I'm just going to kind of go through all the different stuff I found. So the first thing I went through is I was like looking like I'm schizo truther, right? I'm like, is this guy a CGI? Is he even a real person or something? Because the camera's so, 360p or whatever. And we found his picture in the Penn State yearbook, and that coincides with the years he says he was there and everything. So he's a real person, and then the age and everything seems to check out, and the years he says he was there seems to check out. Is it just me, or does he look black here? I said I wasn't gonna. I'm not roasting him. I'm just trying to make it light humor. I'm trying to present only facts here. Good-looking guy back then. we all were though, right? Back in the day. What other ones do I got here? So now here's where it gets, you can see some of the pictures of the Michael Viktor now has changed its name. And now the name of it changed. Originally it was Astro Mute. I've been following this picture. So either way, if this is or isn't anything to do with Matt, this right here is an interesting rabbit hole. It may just be a guy that goes around and take pictures of towers, and they just happen to take the only picture of the tower that's Matt's kidnapping business was registered to. Even if that other picture of that guy wasn't Matt, then that's really all you have. And he puts up just crazy pictures, and they're all geotagged. So it's this guy going out here to these sites, and they're military sites and all kinds of places all over. Federal Aviation Administration facility. But he has a big collection or he actively travels the country and finds these kind of hidden towers and then repeater bases for what's called the AT&T long line system, when they had the long distance network was just lines underground, right? And then every 50 miles there was a base that would amplify the signal in like a little shed. Sometimes they look like a garage, like to the untrained eye, like I would definitely wouldn't notice it until I started looking at this. Like it just looks like a garage or something in an alley. But then it's an actually repeater, whatever you call it, amplifier. I don't know the technical term. But then so this guy actively goes around. There's pictures of this guy so he's got tons of pictures from planes. And he has 6,300 pictures. So this one just looks like, I don't know, a place of interest to him. I don't know if he thinks this is or maybe it is some kind of facility to do with that long line system or something. Here's one. Look at the next one. Secret AT&T underground facility. That's what he calls it. Oh, whoops. I just lost that one. Let me go back down. That's how I'm pretty sure he names it and geotags it. And he's out here tagging. Now, I'm not saying this is Matt or anything. I'm saying this on its own, if it's unrelated to Matt, is a very interesting rabbit hole. Here he's got, what's this, some tower here on the left. Some tower that fell over. He gets tons of pictures like this. This is like one of these repeater bases or something. I don't think I'm using the right word, but and they all, not all of them, but a lot of them attached to these towers that have these like microwave horns on them. He finds all these like empty labs like this, like vacant communication stations or whatever. And he's also, if I can, I'll scroll down for a little bit. So just watch the screen here on the left, because I'm just going to scroll down. He goes to, it's more than just going to towers. He's on the airfield at military bases. He's in Antarctica, like literally he's there. And so this is definitely a person, whoever this person is a person with military clearance, 100%. And there's so many. I'm gonna scroll for a while, but just so you get a taste of what's on here. I mean, tons of this stuff. See if I can make this bigger in the... Oh, I can't see how to do that. Hold on one second. I'm gonna see if I can make it bigger so I can just scroll without having to... like click each one for you guys to see. I'm gonna make it bigger. And we'll get back to that in a second. But yeah, just satellites. I mean, tons of them. Frederick County, Maryland. He's everywhere. Look at Point Reyes Station, California. Three Peaks Earth Station. Here it is. Amundsen Scott, South Pole Station, Antarctic Plateau, Antarctica. So this isn't shit he's finding on Google Maps. This dude is here, I believe. And it's all like geotagged. I mean, what an amazing picture, right? Looks like an amazing place. Here's another one. Scott's Hut, Cape Evans, McMurdo, Antarctica. Brewster, Washington. Getting these satellite dishes. Oh, I forgot I zoomed in on the thing because I was trying to click the the pictures to make them bigger for you. I totally forgot. I blew it. I'm just trying to find one to show you where he's like on a military airfield so you can see. I mean, it's just countless pictures, 6,000. A lot of like empty, abandoned places. And I guess that long lines thing is its very own rabbit hole. And they had, I guess it just got abandoned once AT&T got disbanded as a monopoly. And a lot of these places were just left kind of abandoned as they made the move into like cell phone technology. Let me just find just one where he's on the... Here's Clear Space Force stations. Some kind of geocentric dome there. Elgin Territory, Freeport, Florida. Lookout Road, Pennsylvania. So this account was the one with the only picture of the address of the insurance. That's why it's weird to me. And then add in the picture that to me looks like Matt. Some people don't think it does. I'm looking for the one where he's on the damn airfield. I could sit here and scroll all night, but probably keep it moving here. Keep going and going. Yeah, let me move this back now. Okay, so they look like stock photos. I believe they're all geotagged because I think that's the only way. Like, how would he have those pictures and put them to that place? You know what I mean? So the Michael Victor is now called Winter. It was called Winter Mute. It was called Michael Victor B7C, Winter Mute B7C. Now it's called Winter Astro Mute. And I'll leave this link in the chat to this one. If you guys want to go through there and check it out. See, EBT says it's not the right address for the tower. What's not? Oops, that's the wrong link I have. Yeah, just look up Winter and then in parentheses Astro and then Mute, and then you'll find it on Google. And this is the tower that's like across the street. The same, I think it's the same tower. It's owned by American Towers LLC. 1956. I think this is the one I'm looking for here. Malvern, Pennsylvania. Yeah. There's like tower sites that look this all up. It's like operating in the 700 to 800 megahertz band transmit antenna system. LMR antennas, I guess. Like, I don't know that much about this stuff, so The Malvern one is located in Chester County. That's where that is. And then I found this PDF for the Chester County broadband system. This shows it's for the Department of Emergency Services for all those mobile towers, and it tells you about them and stuff. And it says the county is replacing these RDLAP with secure interoperable wireless data transfer over 25 kilohertz channels in the 7 to 800 megahertz frequency bands. And then when you look that up, that's the public safety spectrum, 700 megahertz. And then 800 megahertz is the Federal Communications Commission band. So it's within those bands, one of these. That's the tower that's out there. And then I looked more into... Oh, we also found this, too, on YouTube before I go on. There's another website he had. And it's still on YouTube from 2009. Vacant Home Insurance. It's a series. It's called Spotted Frog Design Channel. And he's on here talking about why you need vacant home insurance. I'm going to put the chat on the screen. Hold on. I'm getting distracted looking at my phone and stuff. So there's like a 5-part series of this where he's selling vacant home insurance, and he's like, the Michael Victor guy is all over these vacant sites, right? Now, I'm not saying he is Michael Victor, but pretty weird.
Welcome to part 1 of our video series on vacant home insurance. This is brought to you from the website Vacant Home Insurance.
Daniel Luna said, I think Matt's AI. No, because I found his Penn State yearbook picture. That's what I thought, too.
Now.com. Not a topic that's typically exciting, but it is extremely important.
I think he has the same webcam today. That's right. I said I wasn't going to joke. I like to try to make jokes here, man. Lighten the mood a little bit, but I don't want the QLC people triggered. I'm trying to just show why there's things here that I find questionable when I look into this dude. So he's got the vacant home insurance, kidnapping and ransom insurance, and the guy's taking pictures of all kinds of vacant buildings. The Michael Victor Winter Mute, Astro Mute, whatever it's called thing. Very weird to me. Maybe you don't think it's weird. Another thing I found is this. His website is called freevoice.io, right? And people, when you look into that, IO is really used by people that are like into the technology field heavy. It says tech startup companies and stuff. And so I looked up like who. Oh man, that worked before. Damn, they're on to me. It was just basically saying, let me see. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong thing. Hold on. Boomer alert. Oh no, it is gone. It just basically said like who uses .io, and it's like popular domain extension for startups, tech companies, devs, and geeks in general. So it's really like an Indonesian .io country tag or whatever extension. But mostly it's used by like tech companies. And since Matt really doesn't have any tech experience, it seems like I said in that stream with EVT last night, I feel like Archaics, who spent 26 years locked away, has a better grasp on the modern tech and all that than Matt. I wonder why that is, if that's real. Or if he's just like feigning some kind of like technological ignorance or something. So the .io, sorry, these links aren't in order. My bad. When you go to the .io, the guy that runs it, and he talks about it, he says he doesn't run it. It's Rob, right? And in here, the admin is Rob Burko. when you go to the site, you can see that, and it says admin and his name. And then when you go search that guy, you can look up here. He's got a Trumbull, Connecticut. The dude here, Rob Burko, owner of a home, appraised at $600,000, sale price $1. So now this is not Matt. So this is one of the things I was saying last night. I was like, there's that dumb video called My Son Hunter that's like to slander Joe Biden. But what does Joe Biden have to do with what does his son doing anything wrong have to do with Joe Biden? Nothing really. But this was the basis of the entire Sandy Beach one, right? The basis of the entire Sandy Beach was there's a town of $1 homes. Do you remember that? And then so when you look into this guy, he has a $1 home on the record. So, I mean, take from that what you will. And this guy is running the .io. And then I see the connections to the I still call it Michael Victor, the Winter Mute page or whatever, that has all the tech obsession or whatever. Like if you guys don't think that this is weird and independently, all of these things don't really mean much. But when you build a profile of it all up, like there's a lot of weird things, in my opinion. You may not agree. Here's the one where he was on. Oops. This is, I don't know. Oh, Niven. This is our boy Niven. Niven had the mirror of his when he was on the Alex Jones show. Or it wasn't actually the Alex Jones show, I should say. It was Infowars. So the guy's on Fox. Do you think you'd be on Fox? Any of you guys, do you think you would be on Infowars? You know, it's a little suspicious to me. And it's supposed to be called the truth community. You're supposed to be, like, investigating these things. And I don't see any investigations. I see just meme-based research here. There's definitely a lot of stuff to this. This is the Jeff Snyder 2 one I was talking about, where he talks about what his opinion of what kidnapping and ransom insurance is. And since Matt doesn't talk about it, all that's left is for everyone else to speculate. I'll play just a little bit of this from the Jeff Snyder 2 channel.
While he can focus on the big fish and really, in order to get other people to pay me to not kidnap them, I'm going to take your money and let you go. Now you go tell all your friends that paying me the amount kept you from getting kidnapped. If I kidnapped you, even after you paid me the money, then word would get out to your other associates that know that didn't work. But if I just take the money and don't kidnap you, word gets out to your other associates, and people come through this part of town with the payment ready. Passive revenue stream generation. Getting paid for people you don't kidnap. That's what that is. And so, the kidnappers know that they want a good repeat customer, return customer, good service, so they don't kidnap the guy who pays the money.
No, that's not Benton. Somebody asked if that's Benton.
Essentially, that's the...
Jeff Snyder 2 is the name of the channel. I'll play a little bit more. I feel like he has a good breakdown of what this is. Basically the gist of it is he's saying that what, and he's not a kidnap insurance salesman, so all that's left is for you to speculate. And he's saying it's probably you just go and pay the kidnappers up front. So you pay them $500 or whatever, and then they won't kidnap your guy, rather than let them kidnap your guy and they're going to ask for, $2,500 or something for him back or whatever it is.
Same thing as the new app I'm going to create, Uber Kidnap. It allows the small startup business, who wants to take it. My dad was a kidnapper, my grandpa was a kidnapper, and I just want to follow in the family business. But he doesn't want to focus on small fish and having to just kidnap random tourists for $1,000 here, $1,000 there. He wants to go for the big fish, like these Saudi princes that you could get multi-millions out of. And so in order to allow him to do that, he employs the Uber app. The Uber Kidnap, powered by Venmo with ransom calculator. And he can even...
This dude cracks me up.
Franchise it and have 10 guys below him, 10 downlines that are out there kidnapping the small fish, random tourists, while he can focus on the big fish. And he's like, get the hell out of here, you kidnapped.
And he talks about a thing without playing anymore. He talks about a thing they call express kidnapping, where they kidnap you, bring you to the ATM, they make you pull out the max for that day. They hold you overnight. In the morning, they bring you back to the same ATM, make you pull out the max again, and then they let you go. And so he's saying like the kidnapping insurance could be a way to just avoid that, and you just pay them a little less up front. And now the kidnappers don't even have to kidnap anyone. They just basically get paid money to not kidnap them, or like a mafia insurance, right? Like the mafia comes and says, hey, you got to pay us this amount every week, or there might be a fire at your, bodega or whatever. And so you just pay, and then they're like your protection or whatever. So since Matt doesn't talk about it, that's all we're left to speculate. And if you, the whole thing rests on this though, and I'll even admit that, and maybe this isn't him, but to me it looks very similar, especially when you add up the guy has the only picture of that address. If this isn't him, then you just have a guy taking pictures of towers everywhere he goes, and he just so happened to take a picture of that one, which is totally possible. If this isn't Matt. But when I present this and then people just lose their mind, to me, that's an unnatural reaction to people. That's a completely emotional-based, unnatural reaction. That if you call yourself a truther or a conspiracy theorist or whatever, you should be like, this is interesting. Let's look into this a little more. And the truth community has completely lost that, and that's what I talked about last week, too. It just becomes, you have the newest, latest, greatest theory. Okay, I'm ride or die free now. I'm going to unsubscribe from everyone else, and this is the truth right here. I'm not even going to double-check it. That's how the truth community seems to roll now, for whoever comes out the newest, truther of the week or whatever. Now, Matt's been on the scene for a long time. I'm not necessarily talking about him, but they just lose that discernment to say, hey, let's look more into that and see. Let's get to the bottom of this. They just either re-out or that's what I get a lot when I ask these questions. Just a lot of reading. And the other thing that I talk about a lot on Matt, and I get a lot of flack for it, I don't know why, is the just the ideology itself that he presses. So he talks about a lot of things that are what I call, you can never be wrong type scenarios, like Mandela effect. If you could prove that Mandela effect wrong, the Mandela effect people just say, hey, well, you're from a different reality or something. So that way you're not wrong. Another thing he pushes is that Vanessa VA, retro causality type idea, that the truth is coming through these songs, that the artist says it's about a girl, but what it's really about, it's about this deep truth drop. The artist doesn't even know it. So there's another scenario where you can never be wrong, and where you know more than the artist himself who wrote it. That sounds so ridiculous to me. In my opinion, man, I don't get why. To me, it's a very narc-sounding thing, like narcissistic ideology, to think that you know more than the artist that made it, the movie director who made it or whatever. You're going to tell them what they meant. That sounds ridiculous to me. And another good example of that is in this, speaking of Vanessa VA, in this Vanessa VA video, I thought this was a perfect example of where I come at him on the realm of ideas. Is Vanessa VA did this whole, it's like a re-upload of this other guy's stream. Basically, the dude took Salvia, never did drugs, never drank, tripped his balls off, and lived, I don't remember the exact number, but in his trip, he lived every day of like 12 years in a whole nother slightly different reality where he went to work and he had a different family and friends and they all knew him, but he didn't know them. And so this guy on the top left, he was tripping balls out of his gourd on Salvia. And then he says, you know, eventually comes back down into reality and he starts crying. And he said, even at first, he had a hard time accepting what he saw wasn't real. And now he's come to terms that, yeah, it was complete delusion because I was on drugs, right? I was out of my mind on a chemical and on drugs. And so it wasn't real. It's actually super funny to me if you've ever done drugs. It's funny to listen to this guy that's never done any drugs talk about just tripping his fucking balls off on Salvia. And that was this video from Vanessa VA. And then you got Matt in the comments doing exactly what I'm talking about here. The same thing. The dude says, he compares it to Star Trek, like always a movie. But then he says, this world we are in now may not be very real, but the guy said he lived in a different version. The guy said he lived in Tyler, Texas in the trip, and he had never heard of Tyler, Texas or been to Texas, but there actually is a Tyler, Texas. So Matt says, this world we're not in isn't real, but his Tyler, Texas is no less real or different than this one, in my opinion. Some people believe higher self has many incarnations in the same reality at the same time. Perhaps for 8 years, the pinky on the left hand also became the pinky on the right hand if the higher self in the main body is the main body, if you see what I mean. Also, what did the Matrix 4 just present? Neo in the mirror sees everyone else. Neo in the mirror sees Neo, but everyone else sees an older man. It's possible he saw himself in the mirror and everyone else saw someone completely different. Who knows? Completely different who they have always known. Of course, the big question and problem is if he was there for 8 years, I guess he was in there for 8 years, what happened to the entity that had been living in Tyler in that body? So the guy said he dropped to the floor. He took the hit of Salvia, dropped to the floor, and like 2 minutes later came back into his body. So Matt's saying, what happened to that guy? Well, the dude dropped on the floor. That's what happened. The guy told you. He said, I think he's talking about the guy the body he inhabited, which didn't happen. It happened in the guy's mind because he was on drugs. And he says, was that body an NPC? And the Salvia fucked with the higher self. So the part of him went into the NPC body in Tyler, and there was no real spirit in that body that needed to be pushed aside. Either way, I believe him. The guy says it didn't happen. Someone should make him aware of these possibilities. That's a very narcissistic thing. He needs to hear what I think about it. That's what this truth community creates, I believe, is this kind of like outrageous reasoning. There's no reasoning here at all. And narcissistic, he needs to hear what I think. He says up here, it's strange to hear this person speak in the end about believing it was all in his head. No, it was literally all in his head. And to Matt, it was real. Anything you think of is real, or whatever you think is real. Relativistic, which leads to moral relativity. Right? This guy thinks, he says it's strange to hear this guy say it was all in his head. The guy did it. The guy did a drug. Why would you know more than what's going on than this guy? And the guy told the story. To Matt, it was like real. He got sucked into the story of it. And that's like to me, that's, I don't want to say dangerous, but that's like I don't know the right word. To have this person out here to have that big of an influence and like promoting these types of ideas to people, like he's just stuck on the hamster wheel and leading other people to be stuck on the hamster wheel. That's the way I see that. I think that's the same thing of like, these artists don't really know what the song is about. I know what the song is about. And he said, this guy doesn't know really what happened. I know what happened. Even though the guy himself knows and was there and did it and told you. Ridiculous. And I talked about how in the live stream last week, how the truth community seems to be designed to lead people into like quantum thought, simulation type theory is probably like where they want to bring all these people, so they can get rid of space and bring out a multiverse, multiple timelines, and all this crazy Marvel sound and stuff. They can do whatever they want at that point, make you second guess your own senses and stuff. So I found this video of Matt back when he was called Texas Shrugged, before the Quantum of Conscious channel.
This is the narrated.
Okay, Occulted Traveler says, I don't think these are the real problems with this channel. What is then? What do you think is? Because I can't. The dude's saying he knows more than the guy that took a drug and realized it was a drug, and it didn't actually happen. He's saying it did happen because the world's not real. That's like, that needs to be called out, man. I'm sorry. This is the Texas Shrug channel. Someone re-uploaded this. So this channel was called, if you want to look it up, Coca is Awake. An old Matt video called Texas Shrugged, back before the Quantum Conscience channel. And he's got this video that says, why are the police in Brussels covering their face with masks? So this guy uploaded the re-upload in 2016. So this is way before COVID or anything. So it has nothing to do with COVID. And it's basically about like kind of like police becoming more and more militarized and martial law like in Brussels. But listen to the end of this.
This is the narrated version itself from terrorists and terrorist retribution. Guys just standing around on street corners with machine guns have to have masks on. Like, you know how many terrorists have targeted police and I don't know, but it's like 0 or twice. It's not a big deal. And if that was the case, how come, how about the judges and the prosecutors that prosecuted the mob in the United States? Were they wearing masks? How about the jury in the Al Capone trial, tax trial? Were they wearing masks? No, it's not about that. Police officers have some balls. They don't need to hide. So that's total BS. It is the next facet of the police state that is being rolled out. It's conditioning on both sides. We will not accept this in the United States. These masks. It will not come here. Yes, brothers.
He was wrong on that. The mask thing. Did I play the wrong one? Or maybe it's the middle of this one or something. Maybe I played the wrong one. Hold on.
Full uniforms.
Basically, the one I'm trying to find without trying to find it. It's either the middle of this one or another one of the Texas Shrug ones I said. Or that I found. Is he said at the end of the video, I thought it was the end. He said, hey, if these guys infringe on your rights, maybe the first time you turn the other cheek. And after that, though, you have to take action and fight back, is basically what he said. I'm paraphrasing it for sure. It's not exactly, but that was his message was, maybe one time they get a pass and then eventually you got to fight back. And I know he will say like, oh, I was in the Tea Party or whatever movement. But now his ideas and what I believe the truth community is all about is to lead these people down into this type of thinking that he's into. And not because back then he said fight back and defend yourself. And now he says 5, 6, 7 years later, whatever it is, he says, hey, if they kick your door down and put the medicine in you, you win. So his idea is that if they break the rules, since everything is one and nothing matters in the physical and you're in the simulation, if the elite or whatever, if they break the rules, then you win. But I would say that it's the opposite. It's like, God gave you the body to like take care of it and everything and all the things you were given to like take care of. And if you don't take care of it, if you don't fight back, that's a bigger transgression than those people kicking your door down and doing that if you don't at least fight back for yourself. So he's promoting more despair and hopelessness, I believe, by repeatedly, not just once, over and over on his channel saying, if they kick your door down and do this, you win. To me, that couldn't be further from the truth of anything he said. It's unbelievable. I thought there was one more thing I was gonna. Maybe not. Just double check. So to me, it's a lot of it's in the realm of the idea, and that he's out here promoting these ideas. So the question now to me becomes, when I look at all this, whether you can prove any of this or not, whether he has anything to do with that tower, this picture, or anything like that or not, the question in my mind now becomes, is this guy, did the truth community do its job, that from what my perspective of it is, to create all this hopelessness, helplessness, and lead you to, want to self-harm or whatever? Not necessarily even that, but just woe is me and despair. Did he get psyoped by the truth community into the mental state that he's in now, and the ideas and mindset that he is in now, the don't fight back? Was he psyoped into that by the truth community? Is he like the eventual end product that they're trying to create by bringing you into quantum and everything like that? Or is he playing a part in that, and to try to bring other people down into the hopelessness and despair and everything like that? That's where I'm at with it now, is like just in the realm of ideas, is did he get so like programmed by these conspiracies and truthers things that to go from, in a few years, to go from, hey, make sure you fight back, to just let them walk all over you. Weasel Propin says he's the prototype truther. Yeah, so do you think, some people say both too. Michael A says, nah, he has to be part of the PSYOP. Nobody that sober and intelligent is that crazy. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, the guy seems very intelligent to me for him to be able to sit there and say, I don't know how to live stream, or I don't know that. Like, he acts like he doesn't know how to do anything. Like, you just type it on YouTube and it will step by step show you how to do it. Like, like Jurassic Liars is going live, and this guy's trying to say, well, I don't know how to go live. Ralph Lorino broke him down real good on the Truther Barbecue 2, 6 hours and 14 minutes, where we did it last year on 4th of July. Ralph Lorino had something to say. Shout out Ralph Lorino.
It's unbelievable. I check in on Matt, and the first thing he says is,
let me back it up a little. He's talking about, Matt's talking about JFK, and they admitted it's a conspiracy on the TV. And Matt said, this is a Mandela effect. So this is an older, wiser guy, Ralph Lorino, talking about that take.
Can't learn the truth from a book. Well, he just wrote a book.
and a movie. A movie you can, though?
Anyone who writes a book and then says you can't learn the truth from a book is a rascal.
A rascal. That's a funny word. Call him a rascal. I don't know how you ever recover from being called a rascal from Ralph Lorino. But basically what Ralph was saying was, they came out in the 80s, I think he said, or maybe the late 70s, and said, yeah, this was a conspiracy, the JFK. He said they gave 30 seconds to it. They gave it 30 seconds of attention in the middle of a newscast, and then kind of never talked about it, just kind of memory hold it. And then Matt found out that they admitted that recently and said, oh, this is a Mandela effect. Like, again, that's another one of those scenarios where it's like, yo, you can never be wrong. Like, right? Christina threw down $19.99. I appreciate you, Christina. Thank you for that. I'll send you pictures of the babies later. Matt's a rascal. End stream. That's pretty damning to be called a rascal by Ralph Lorino. And then he acts like he can't write the book too. He's still working on the damn book. He says he's still updating that book that he did years ago. And meanwhile, he has older books. When you go to Amazon, he has all these other published books from before. He was on Fox News shilling a book. So why can't he finish this book? He acts like he doesn't know how or something like that. It's just, there's too many unanswered questions in my mind. And I hate that people get, like, they immediately think I'm attacking him, which sometimes I do. I'll admit we say, some we're being funny. It's a show. You know what I mean? You got to say stuff, be outrageous sometimes. But when it's just these things that I can show you that I showed tonight, like these are objective things that you should be thinking, man, what's going on here? Like, is this him? Maybe it's not. Maybe none of it's anything. But I thought it's all about being skeptical. And in this one, I'm not going to do it now. When you follow this rabbit hole of this vacant home insurance, it leads to some kind of like phone answering service out of King of Prussia where they'll answer your phone for you. And is that why the damn phone's ringing every time he's doing a stream? I don't get it. No one's ever called me ever. Like, yeah, because I have text and everything, but who's calling? Why? I don't. To every time he does a video, someone's calling. Does that mean the phone's ringing all day long or what? And the cat video to me was, I don't know, that was just too much for me. Make sure I didn't miss any of these links here. Like the Kung Fu Golf. Again, the Kung Fu Golf has better production value. It's 9 years old. Has better production value than any of the things that he's putting out today. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. How can he produce this entire multi-part series? And there's good lighting and decent camera. There's like little transitions and everything like that. And on the new one, he's on like a 360 webcam. I don't get it. None of it makes sense. Weasel Poppin says he's probably a comedian and we just don't get the joke. I totally think that this is a troll, dude. I 100% think this is a troll. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I really genuinely don't know what it is. There's no way he believes half the stuff that he says. I can't imagine it. Maybe he does. If he does, he's so far like on the hamster wheel, like we like to say, then I mean, maybe it's possible. Rusty, I appreciate you. He says, Rascal is a cool insult and I'll make Goober great again. And if, let's say it's all true and everything's real and he makes it seem like, maybe this isn't it, but he makes it seem like he sits home alone. Excuse me. That he sits home alone in the dark in the house all day with the cats pissing all over the floor. Like, that sounds like a depressed existence, man. We've offered a long time for this dude to, come on some streams. You want to have these debates and sharpen your ideas and everything. It's got to be done with other people. And if you guys want to leave some comments, I have questions directly for Matt. I'll leave a timestamp when I'm done with this video. If you want to answer these questions on Freevoice or YouTube, I think it'd be great. Obviously, you don't have to, but I have questions for Matt, and I have questions for the Matt Earthers, as we call them, the people that refuse to, ever question anything about him, or just say it's mean, or we're being mean, or something like that. The questions I wrote some down for Matt would be, that's for the Matt Earthers. Hold on. Are you the man in the Michael Victor pictures? That's the number one question, because if he says no, then I mean, it is what it is, and that's the end of it, I guess, right? Is this you, Matt? This is the number one question. And if it's not, then I guess it's just pretty random that there's a dude that has that picture, that has a guy that looks like you, that has pictures of a bunch of vacant places next to a guy that sells vacant location insurance. I mean, it's a hell of a lot of coincidences, but I guess it's possible. Is the cat Zara named after Ben Gazarra? That's another question I would ask, but I didn't write it in here. So part one is, are you the Michael Victor in the pictures? Are you the man in the Michael Victor pictures? And I'm going to add to that, is Zara named after Ben Gazarra? And if not, then it's not. Number 2, to Mr. Matt McKinley. Would you care to share any kidnapping ransom insurance stories? Because since you don't talk about it, we're left to hear Jeff Snyder talk about it, and what he says sounds good to me. So unless you're willing to give anyone any insights, yeah, I'm sure there's NDAs and non-disclosures and all that stuff, but if you can't speak on it at all, then it's just going to be other people speculating, and then that's what's going to happen. Number 3, to Matt, I would love to hear him explain, what does reality isn't real and reality breakdown mean? I hear these, it's like gravity. It's just like gravity. It says reality isn't real. What does that mean? I don't know if I've listened to nearly every video. I don't understand what that means, and maybe it needs to be refined so that people can get a better grasp and understanding of what you mean when you say these blanket concepts that they don't really mean anything. You say reality isn't real, reality break. What does that mean? I'm not coming at you. I'm saying literally from an intellectual level. I literally don't understand it. And I think if you rephrased it or like reformulated it better, maybe you could get the idea that you're trying to say across. And then number 4, I'd ask Matt, do you think it's narcissistic to never be wrong? Like the examples I gave of the Mandela effect. You know the meanings of the songs more than the person that made it. You know the meaning of the movie more than the person that made it. You know that this guy's drug experience, his drug-induced trip was real when he says it wasn't. Like, do you not see that that's a narcissistic thinking? Or is it not? Is it just, am I missing something there? And number 5, I would like to ask Matt, if he wanted to answer, is why do you censor reasonable comments? Because his ideology is that you have to doom yourself. It's a spiritual war and you have to doom yourself. That's literally what he says. There's no consistency in what he talks about. He talks about 1 week you're in the bardo and the next week it's this and the next week it's this, right? It's just constantly changing and shape-shifting ideology. And the one thing he does say, though, is that, yeah, you're in a spiritual war and you need to doom yourself. And my wife went in the comments, first time she ever left a comment, she just said, no, you're in a spiritual war because you're supposed to fight the spiritual war. And he just deleted it and blocked her. Like, it wasn't combative. It wasn't anything like that. And I've heard tons of other people say that they just say, like, if you're not blowing smoke up his ass, then he's going to remove your comment. Which I guess it's his channel, it's his right, but shouldn't you be, if your ideas are so good and so sharp, shouldn't you be able to like defend your point on everything? Or are we just living in fantasy land where we just say anything we want? It's all about subscribers or what? I don't get it. That's why I want to move to this like realm of like the debates and everything. I'd be glad to get my ass handed to me in a debate so I could go back to the drawing board and like rehone my ideas. I would love that actually. But I think a lot of these people out here are scared of that. So that's the last question I would have for Matt is why would you censor reasonable comments, especially after you saying you got a strike and YouTube censoring you? Why would you be doing that same thing to other people? If they're transgressing on you, why would you do it? Let me check all this chat out quick. And then I have questions for the Mad Earthers. He's just a dude. And they're just talking about the 10th level Jedis. And another thing is he talks about his, what do you call it? Amish classroom. And if you look at the students he's cranking out, now here's a guy who's shouted out way more than me. Uncanny deduction, less than 2,000 subs. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't equate more subs to better information. Me personally, I don't. But I can't play this guy's video and have it here. But I mean, this video I went through and watching is just nothing but like incoherent rambling. So this is the kind of student he's cranking out, and he can't say that it's not because he says he's running an Amish classroom. And this is a student that he talks about. So And this guy admits he's rambling here, and he says, yeah, I'm kind of talking these ideas out. So I don't think this guy here in this specific video is saying, yeah, I'm presenting, you know, information. But it's very incoherent, though, when I watched it. This one specific video. I didn't watch any other ones. So maybe he has other better ones. But to me, like, just this one video was telling, like, yo, this is, again, the hamster wheel. You're just like a dog chasing your own tail after these thoughts, man, with everything on the table. Like, seems like a plague of these types of people on the internet nowadays, where everything's on the table and just anything and everything is available. To the people that we call the Mad Earthers, the diehard defenders, I would ask them this, man. If you want to leave a comment, number your paper 1 through 5. The people that get mad because he gave me a shout out and then got a bunch of subscribers because of it, I would ask them, like, after a shout out, what's the time limit before legitimate critiques are allowed? Is it 3 years? 5? After 5 years, am I allowed to give some critiques or question who the person is? Got some misspellings in here, but don't judge me. And also to the Mad Earthers, I would ask him, or even Matt, if he wanted to answer this one himself too, is what could I do to show my appreciation, to say thank you? Like, what could I do short of sucking the guy's dick? Like, what do you want me to do? I said thank you. I literally, genuinely appreciated it. I don't know what else I could do, you know. But if there is something I'm missing that I could do, let me know. And you can't say, like, don't talk about him, because then, like I said, then you're saying you want him to be my handler, basically, if you're saying I'm not allowed to critique or talk about him. Then I would ask Matt Earther, have you ever known anyone that sells kidnapping and ransom insurance? Because I don't. I know a lot of people that do a lot of weird, crazy stuff, and I've never even heard of that. Maybe I'm the one that's out of touch. Have you ever heard of this or known anyone that does this? That's my question. And to the Mad Earthers, I would also ask, do you feel conspiracies have been a net positive or negative to your life? Like, are you more isolated than from before? And maybe you think that's a good thing. I don't know. Do you think it's been good or bad in general? Obviously, a little bit of both, but if you had to, you know, put a label on it, which one would it be? And then the last question I would have for the Mad Earthers would be, what would you like to see from Matt? Because I don't think he likes to take suggestions. I know a lot of people say they would like to see him go live. I talked about it last night with EBT on that stream on his channel. As we were saying, dude, go live. Monetize the channel, go live, turn on the super chats, do it for the cats. You're doing a video in one take anyway, pretty much. Or is there something to do with that phone ringing? Is there a reason you can't do it? Is he just stuck in the loop? I would ask the Mad Earthers, what would you like to see? Maybe they want to see different types of topics or collaborations or something like that. Like, maybe they'd like to see him be nicer in the comments. I always see him like shitting on any comment that offers like a slight criticism. He'll like jump in there and try to cut him down real quick. Want to see what the chat says, and I'm gonna look at one more thing here. Sabir, I don't know if I'm saying it right, says, I want to see Matt live with Owen Benjamin. People would love that. The Bears would love it. The Mad Earthers would love it. But that's what the system wants. Everyman Dad says. Pre-COVID, there was a YouTube interview he gave. He was good. It was good. Yeah, that's the other thing I have with the dude is he was like, in my opinion, man, he was like super far ahead of the curve on this stuff. And like he just completely became stagnant. He was like leading the pack basically in the realm of ideas on YouTube, and then everyone else kept like evolving their ideas and stuff, and then he never did. So is that intentional, or is it complacency, or what is it? I don't know. Because I thought, like, before, like, leading up to the book, he had tons of really good videos, and then the book itself was pretty good. And then after that, there was, like, a significant drop-off on the quality. And then part of that, just in my opinion, would be the quantity. He just puts out so much. I don't know. Me, I go live once a week, because, number one, I don't want to blow up your feed, but number two, it's like, I don't even have that much stuff to say, I feel like, where I could be making a video every day. I mean, I probably could, but eventually, yeah, you would probably burn out. I wanted to show what kind of started this. Didn't start it, I mean, but I thought this was a good way to piggyback off the stream I did last week. How it's kind of, I said that's what the truth community is basically trying to generate mats. I didn't say that, but that's what I feel like the kind of idea where you don't have to ever fight back because the physical means nothing. It's just 100% spiritual. Like, no, you're here in the physical. You have to do something. Yeah, here's the one where EBT and I were just kidding about some stuff, and then this guy said, man, chalk body went at your neck for 10 minutes. What a child. Like, you being personable and a regular guy is wrong. Okay, he doesn't seem like a regular guy to me. Something's off, and there's too many red flags with all the different things that I see. That's why I don't get why these people, they refuse to see it even when they're shown. It says, why can't our community stand united? Why? I don't want to stand with people that can't see that stuff. I don't agree with everyone in life, this guy says. Pettiness and trolling aren't attributes of a grown man. And, yeah, I do troll him sometimes. I'm not going to lie and say I don't. But tonight I tried to not just present, like, realistic expectations and examples. Matt would make bank on the super chats. Yeah, absolutely. Do it for the cats, dude. Like when he was red hot right before COVID, think of if he had cashed in then and all through this time now, just go live every couple days, and the people would love to chat with him, man. The people in his comments seem desperate to kind of, they say they email him all the time and he emails everyone back. So why not just communicate with him in the live streams and get the super chats out of it? And otherwise you're doing this service for free, which that's your choice, man. But then you got these cats to feed and everything like that. I'll just do super cats instead of super chats. And then, yeah, QOC said I'm a creepy dude because I'm fixated on him. And I would like to, like, take that word away from him if he does want to respond. Instead of calling me creepy, because he calls Jared Kushner creepy. He calls Bill Gates creepy, Bezos creepy. Don't put me in the same category as those guys, man. Just all I did was type your name in Google and all that stuff came up. And that's the last thing I want to talk about is, let me read this and then I'll go into, well, I think it's possible that all these things that we've looked up on him are like fake, and it's, EBT and I have talked about it as, it's like some type of Cicada 3301 or whatever that's called game or something. The amount of information you can find on this guy, like, it's almost unreal. When you looked him up, I haven't looked it up in a long time, but before he was on the Facebook, and you could find Pam, and it said right there on Pam's thing, works for Pfizer and everything like that. Like, I mean, it seems unreal that there's this much information that you can just by typing one name in the thing. But the Penn State Yearbook shows that he's real. That's his real name, real age, everything like that. Yeah, shout out to Elle. She says, I don't want to spread toxic positivity. I watch Matt. These are legit questions I wish he'd answer. And he's had since I did that last stream on Christmas. So he's had since then till now, and a bunch of people said they emailed him about him, and he never mentions it or it says they won't answer any questions about it or something like that. There was a guy that I can never say this guy's name. New Normal World Order says he'd pay top dollar to see Chalkbody QLC stream. It would be epic. I'll go on your stream, Matt, and you can keep all the super chats, dude. Let's do it. There was someone else that asked, I don't know if it was this one. I thought it was this one. But they said, like, how do you feel about that he gave you the subscribers and then now you, talk bad or however. I can't remember how the person mentioned it, but hopefully I addressed a lot of that tonight. This guy, too, this guy was one of the Mad Earthers. He says, the only reason I even sub here is because Matt recommended the channel. So you just do whatever he says or what? He says, I've never found your presentations to be particularly insightful, but I have tuned in from time to time. It just wasn't worth the finger motion to unsub. Now it is. What could anyone hope to achieve by picking on Matt? This is right what they go to. This is what I've gotten from the very first day when I've even gave just light criticisms. They say, why are you picking on him? This guy says, maybe put in a little more effort into creating interesting and insightful content. Like what? Like the same video every day? Rather than trying to tear down those that do, and your channel could be good too. That was David Bliss. So he wasn't even worth the finger motion. Like he couldn't even move his thumb to the left like 2 inches. The sluggard. But then once I said something about Matt, then he did. Now to me, that's an unreasonable mindset. Number one, if you were offended or whatever, you would just unsub and you wouldn't leave this like long comment. So he wasn't worth the finger motion to do that before, but now he'll type all this stuff out just because all over a community post where I screenshotted this guy calling me creepy dude, the same words he uses for Bill Gates. And any like legitimate criticism, he just calls a troll as well, which I think that's disingenuous. Yeah, I wish I could find the other one. I thought it was in here because the person had a specific question about, I think he asked, how do I feel about that he gave me the shout out, and then now I talk about him or something. And like I said, man, it's just, I feel like he's not my handler, so I'm not beholden to this dude, and I don't know. Hopefully I explained it. Yeah, otherwise I guess I've been done talking about him pretty much, other than we do kind of make fun of some of his videos, like the like the submarine one last night on EBT's stream. Let me bring that up again. But as far as like bringing up new information, I really don't have any other, like, whatever you call it. I don't want to say proofs because none of them are proofs, but you know what I mean. Just suspicious things, I guess, because I don't really see any other ones. I've been looking for a while, so I guess there's nothing else to say. So this is the stream we did last night. It's now on EBT's page. It's unlisted, so this is the secret link here, I guess. You got to click that link. It's 2 hours. It's hilarious. Subscribe to EBT. We're going to get... I'm telling them we got to get EBT up to 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, even if he did shout me out and give me all those subscribers I showed in the analytics, he did. I mean, I'll admit it. It's not that he didn't. He did. I shout out channels all the time. Like it's. I don't care, and then I wouldn't care if they started like saying stuff about me or whatever. I don't control these people. You know what I mean? I think I just don't think like that. I don't know. Even if they did, I would just go. I'd go back at them. I want to play this, but I don't think I can. EBT was coming in hot last night. It was too hot. We had to put it on his channel. said, bro, you can give me that strike-a-rooney. All right, man. I think that's it. Michael, or Winter Mute. Check them out. I'll put this link in the chat too. Maybe it has nothing to do with it. Maybe it's just completely random. And man, there's one more thing that I wanted to say. I know there is, and now I can't think about it. But yeah, I've gone, 2 hours now? That's what I was hoping to do, so. Let's end it there. I do appreciate everyone's time that was here. If Matt, if you want to respawn. If not, all good. And go subscribe to EBT and watch that stream with a secret link, the unlisted stream. It's also pinned in the live chat. And I will see you guys next Friday for sure, if not before that. Thanks to everyone that was here. Appreciate your time. Peace out.